And I'm back. So, I was in Spain the last couple months, and now I'm in the United States again, obviously. And it was really fun. I learned a lot, obviously Spanish, but also a little bit about some of the world history and more about Europe, and also a lot more about what it means to be an American, what it means to be me. So I'm really happy to be back, but I am really missing Spain too. I just became accustomed. It's hard not to, I guess. But I really enjoyed myself. My host mom was amazing, and the college there was really fun. I learned so much there. The teachers were amazing, and of course I made a lot of good friends. The majority of them which had come from the United States with me in the school program. But that's cool, you know, because now I get to see them more since they're stateside, which makes sense. Anyway, yeah, so we had a lot of fun. And my host mom, Maruja, was the only one in the house with me, so I had a little bit of a different experience than the majority of the other students, but I think I appreciate it more because with just her and I in the house, we really got down to the nitty-gritty of getting to know each other, and daily interaction was pretty intense. But she was a really sweet woman, really kind, and just motherly, I guess. Was kind of her only job. She never really had a job before. She just kept house and raised her kids and had a good time of it. So realistically, I went there as a 19-year-old woman who'd been taking care of myself for a while now, and who'd, you know, cleaned my own clothes as a kid and did the dishes and had chores after school just like everyone else in the United States. But over in Spain, that's very, very abnormal. Usually the mother takes care of all the domestic duties and raises the kids and makes sure everyone's on time for everything, and it was just not how I was raised. So to come into the home and be treated like a child and be waited on hand and foot was interesting, but I might have hurt my host mom's feelings a couple times, because I would make my own bed, or I'd help with the dishes, or, like, God forbid, I would, you know, fold my own clothes, you know. So it was a little bit step back in time for me, a little look back into history as far as the United States goes with our female rights and civil rights and all that. But it was just the mentality there, the pace of life was so different and refreshing. I mean, I seriously fell in love with the concept of siesta, where everything shuts down for like a little over 2 hours just in the middle of the day, and everyone puts down what they're doing and goes home and relaxes with the family. Maybe they take a nap, but they're just like, they have that time every day to just put everything down and relax. Like, that, it's so un-American, or I mean, at least in my family, it's very abnormal to be able to just stop in the middle of what you're doing and appreciate life. So I really, really liked that. And then also concepts of partying until the sunrise. That's basically every weekend in Spain, rain or shine. And I was in northern Spain, so there was a lot of rain, but they just love to party. They're very social, very active people. You know, they eat all the time. They're eating. Well, not like Americans. Let me correct this. Okay, so they don't eat like every half an hour. They don't eat little snacks here and there like a lot of Americans do. What they do is they have like 3 or maybe 4 meals a day, and they have one huge one right in the middle of the day, like huge, like 5 courses at 2:30 in the afternoon, just huge. And then like breakfast is next to nothing, and then dinner is like next to nothing. But they eat a ton in that set period. So it made me feel like I was back home with the amount of food I was eating, but just, you know, I'm used to hunt and gather, kind of snack when you're hungry, not really into the big meals anymore. So it took a little while getting used to, and I definitely had to sleep afterwards. It was like that much eating was exhausting. To sit there and eat all that food was just exhausting. But they do this thing where they wake up at the crack of dawn and they go to school or they go to work, and then they have siesta, which is a couple hours where you just chill. You go home and chill, or you go to a cafe with your friends and you just like sit and drink coffee. But then afterwards, they either go back to work or back to school. Yeah, their school's like split into 2 parts of the day. I guess that was from like World War II, I think they said, where you got to choose whether you went to the beginning part of the day or the second part of the day because they had to do a lot of war-related duties as citizens. Anyway, but now you have to go to both parts. So you like stop school in the middle of the day for a couple hours and then go back. And then everyone usually comes home around 6 to 8 o'clock at night. 6 to 8, depending if you have after-school activities or what kind of job you have. Then everyone comes home and they have like a really small dinner, and then parents will either go to like, they have different activities like adult, like bridge club or something, or they stay home and watch TV, and kids, and by kids I mean anyone under the age of 30, go out to the discotecas or go drinking or go to a study group in a cafe, but they don't stay in the house. Like, nobody ever stays in the house. There's this huge concept between calle and casa, and calle means street, casa means house. And I was talking to a couple of Spaniards, and like every single one of them was, basically they said they would live in the street if they could. They love being out and being seen, walking with friends, window shopping, doing God knows what, you know. But they almost never do stuff in the house. It's strictly for the family, strictly, you know, it's almost sacred. It's really different from the States. Like me, if I wanted to study with my friends, I would invite them over, we'd have tea and cookies, and we'd study for hours in the living room or somebody's bedroom or something. But in Spain, that's, like I mentioned, where do we study? And they looked at me funny and said, right here in the cafe, where there's all this noise and all these people running around, and I was like, how can you get anything done? But that's what they're used to. That's how they do it. So it was a little bit of a culture shock. Some of the daily things just were so out of the ordinary, but for the majority of the time, I felt pretty comfortable. I mean, it's not like I was in Southern Africa, for Christ's sake. I was, you know, in a first world country, very well developed. I mean, some people were asking, like, do they have telephones over there? I was like, of course they do, of course they do. So, it was a definite refreshing look on what it is not to be in America. I've never done that before, and it was very eye-opening, and I cannot believe how much I've come to love the United States. I mean, I haven't been everywhere in the United States. I was born in Connecticut. We moved out west, so I have a kind of an idea of the diversity of the United States. You know, a little bit, smidgen. You know, obviously there are like the cliched army brats who have been in all 50 states and they know every different dialect and whatnot, but you know, I think I understand pretty well so far on a whole what America means, and I love it. I love America. I never in my life want to not be a U.S. citizen. I come from the States, I am proud of that, and I will always come back to the States. And I mean, I might live outside the country again, maybe for a couple of years even, maybe I'll work outside the country, God knows, but what I really want is to die here. Sounds a little pessimistic, but I want this to be the place where my body finds peace, and I want to eventually raise my children here. I want them to find unity within the United States, and it's just, I mean, it's amazing here. You guys have no idea. Or maybe you do. Either way, I'm so glad to be back. I mean, I miss Spain. Wonderful experiences, wonderful time, but it is so good to be home. I love peanut butter, and I love being able to drive, like, without fearing for my life every 2 seconds. Oh my God, I love that people speak English everywhere I go. And I just, you know, we have faults here. We have problems in the United States, in our government, in our personal lives, our culture, our laws. But you know what? Everybody has problems on a personal level, on a, you know, a country level. It's everything and everyone has problems, but I really do believe this is the best place to be if I'm going to be as screwed up as it is here. So anyway, I'm going to talk to you guys again soon. I'll tell you a little bit more about Spain, but I'm back. I'm so glad to be back, and comment and talk to me as much as you want.